Oh, there he is. Thank you, Gordon.
Sorry to be late.
That's okay. You made a quorum, so we're all happy. We, as just a reminder, we are still in executive session.
Hang on, Pat. Can we just confirm with Haley that we are now live?
Oh yeah, you've been live. I mean, I'm
So
not going to post the first part on YouTube, but there's like the people watching us can hear and see you.
Thanks, Haley. Appreciate it.
Okay, so we are
including Mary also, just throwing that out there.
Yeah. She's pretty funny. So we are in executive session, correct? And the public cannot hear us.
No, they can hear you right now. We didn't make a separate Zoom because we figured we were going to come right out of executive session once we started.
Okay, so we will officially start the meeting. And I welcome everybody to come, and I welcome the members of the public that are listening. But as we know, we are still going to go back. We are in executive session. So the next part of our meeting will be to discuss a personnel matter, and that will not be viewed by the public.
No. Can I clarify
that
briefly? So procedurally, what needs to happen is that the committee needs to, has to come out of executive session.
Mm-hmm.
And the decision of the committee has to be made outside of executive session.
Correct.
And so I don't think you can, unless the other committee members, want to correct me on this. I think my understanding is that the committee had concluded its executive session work. If it hasn't, I think we would need to, do something different with Zoom to have it not be public. But I was under the impression that the committee's executive session work was concluded and the committee was prepared to come out of executive session. Is that accurate?
That was my understanding too.
Okay. Go ahead, Courtney.
That was my understanding too. I thought we've concluded our discussions and deliberations on this matter, and now we're coming out of executive session to vote and make a public recommendation to the full council.
Okay. And my only thing with that was I did not know whether members had any questions in regard to personnel matters that I had done in reference checks.
If they do, you'd have to go back into executive. I mean, you'd have to.
I would have to issue a whole new Zoom link because this is public.
Yeah.
Okay. Unless anybody doesn't have any questions, we will stay. We will be officially out of executive session, or we won't be in executive session, and we will entertain a vote.
Oh, is it appropriate for me to move that we come out of executive session?
I would say it is, Gordon. Yes.
Yes.
And I move with that that we come out of executive session.
And of course, by we you mean the executive committee.
Yes.
Okay. And I just want to note for the record that just to remind members of the public, the executive committee under the bylaws is made up of the chair, Pat Kimball, the secretary, Betsy Fitzgerald, the vice chair. Instead of the vice chair right now, we have two members at large, Courtney Gary Allen and Eric Small, and the treasurer, Ben Mann. Eric Small and Ben Mann are not able to participate in this meeting. And the council at its last session nominated or approved the appointment of Gordon Smith as another at-large member under the bylaws to the executive committee.
Correct.
And so Gordon's motion is on the table. I hear a second from Courtney, and Pat, this is your.
Okay, so I have a motion and a motion and a second. If there's no other further discussion, Haley, can you call a roll and we'll vote?
Sure. Pat Kimball.
Yes.
Courtney Gary Allen.
Yes.
Betsy Fitzgerald.
Yes.
And Gordon Smith.
Yes.
All right, all in favor, motion carries. Thank you very much. So this meeting has only one item on the agenda, and that is to place the name of Mary Coyne in as our new Maine recovery coordinator.
And that's the committee's recommendation to the council, is that right?
That is the commit. Well,
Question, I have a question. So I thought the council at our last meeting expressly authorized the executive committee to actually make the decision and
Yeah, I don't think,
negotiate a contract.
yeah, I don't think they want a recommendation. I think they just want us to go through with it.
Right.
That's correct.
Yeah, that was my interpretation, that we could we could hire the coordinator.
Yeah, they voted on it.
Yep.
Yes.
Courtney, do you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I was just gonna make a formal motion to approve the hiring of Mary Coyne, based on the power instilled in us by the full council to hire her effective immediately or as soon as possible based on her start date.
I think as soon as the, necessary contracting takes place.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because again, for the members of the public, this is a position that is subject to a 1-year contract.
Yep, and based on the contract as outlined between Pat and Mary.
I second
Second.
Courtney's motion.
Okay, you got it, Gordon.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other further discussion than to hire Mary Coyne as directed by the full council as the first Maine Recovery Council coordinator?
Pat, I do have one question, which is, as the committee knows, under the bylaws, the council's acts are meant to take place by consensus. I guess this is a question for both the chair and the committee members. Is it the committee's impression that there is consensus within the committee, to support this motion? Any disagreement with that?
I'm in full agreement that we are all in favor of this motion. There's
Okay.
a consensus in regards to this motion.
Right. I intend to abstain only because I didn't review the applications and was not part of the interview process. So I'm participating today so that you have a quorum, but I've always been intending to abstain for that reason.
Brendan, just for the record, I believe there was a consensus in our previous executive meetings of this committee that Mary was our selected choice. And I do just want to say on the record that this committee did a phenomenal job looking at all of the applications, and I believe that we have chosen the most qualified candidate. And I'm very excited about Mary and thankful to her for her service to Maine and to the people of Maine, particularly folks who are in recovery and or who use drugs. So I'm very excited to have you on board, Mary. I look forward to the next few years working with you. Thank you.
And I will second what Courtney said. Oh, wait, I'll say ditto.
Very well said, Courtney. Very well said. I think all of us are excited for Mary to start and to see what lies for this position. As again, I think we did a very good job. We had good candidates and did our homework and our due diligence. Despite the fact we wanted her hired yesterday, we were able to work through all we needed to get through. So I have a motion and a second on the floor. Can we take a roll to take a vote?
Pat Kimball,
Yes.
Courtney Gary Allen,
Yes.
Betsy Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Gordon Smith.
Abstain.
So it's
Sounds
3 in
like the
favor and
motion
1
passes.
abstention. Yep, the motion passes.
Motion passes, and Mary Coyne has been selected, and Brendan and I will work out the details as to the next steps in calling her. I've talked to her already this week, but we will talk to Mary and get all the necessary paperwork done. And I think that is all we need to do at this point.
Okay,
I move
Let
we, you get something, Brandon, before we
I
adjourn?
just want to remind the committee and members of the public that the meeting that's ending today is really the meeting that began. Haley might know the specific date, but when the executive committee first started the meeting, I forget the exact date. This is a continuation of that meeting, and so today's meeting is ending that original meeting, which continued through executive session to today.
I think it was the 12th of October.
I just have a logistical question. Brendan, we had gotten an email from Liz, and maybe Pat, you know this answer, about sending out a press release for the ways that the public can engage with the Maine Recovery Council. Has that been done, or is that planning to be done?
So we were talking about that briefly beforehand. Haley has contacted the sort of legal notice sections of the Press Herald, the Bangor Daily News, and Maine Public, which is our standard process for Recovery Council meetings. Otherwise, I mean, our office hasn't typically done press releases except for, I think, the first meeting. And so, I mean, that like we're following our standard process is my understanding.
So Courtney, we also, Liz had talked about the magazine journal recovery, and the name escapes me. I will contact them and make sure they know, and I will contact a few people and send press releases to and then I will send out a reminder to all the people. I know that your organization has already sent out notices on social media about the survey and about the public hearing. So we will push it that way, as well as I have a couple of friends in radio and see what I can do with that. So we will keep pushing it, but so we're doing the best we can, but really it's up to the membership to really get that out. And I think we will do a job with that. And the press is usually right on it. I'm sure that if they see that, they will be on that, because they've been on they monitor almost every one of our meetings, and we've had questions from 2 news centers in the past before, plus newspapers.
So just for clarity, we are not sending out a traditional public press release.
No, unless I can do it if people want it. Again, we've sent the legal press release, which everyone will see from the major papers. And if they think there's a story there, they'll pick it up. Sending additional release, I mean, we can do it, but it just seems redundant. And again, I will speak to the Recovery Journal, the name of the magazine escapes me. Plus, again, I will make sure that the TV stations also get a press release. But
okay,
it really has its own little, once one person puts it out, the other ones quickly pick up on it. So.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? We have a motion on the floor that we adjourn. Do I hear a second?
Yes.
Second, I don't know who made the motion to adjourn.
I think you did, Gordon.
Okay, then I withdraw my second. I would stand by my motion, and somebody needs to second it.
Betsy seconded it.
Thank you.
Any other further discussion? I think we can just do a consensus as to adjourning. I don't think we need to call a roll.
You do need to call a roll.
All right, Haley, would you please call a roll?
Yeah. Also, the meeting started on October 3rd. We continued it to October 12th.
Okay.
And this will be the end of both of those meetings that were authorized, the September 14th meeting.
Okay.
Pat Kimball,
Yes.
Courtney Gary Allen,
Yes.
Betsy Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Gordon Smith.
Yes.
All set.
All right. Thank you all. Motion carries. Thank you all. Enjoy your day. And Courtney,
Thank you. Bye-bye.
take a dip in that pool. See y'all later.